Hello everyone, Wardy here with another cast for the YouTubes and the YouTubes only, as we are jumping into a PvT today between two of the very best. In the bottom right hand side, our red Protoss player, this is Zest, taking on the blue Terran in the top left from Splice, TY, in a best of 3 series from today's Olimoleague. That is some Tuesday in March. I actually don't know what the date is today. It's like the let's say the 24th. We're gonna guess the 24th. It's the 26th. Oh my god, how fast is March going by? It's nearly the end. Crazy! So this is from today's Olimoleague. It's just a best of 3 series. I'm not actually sure what round it was from, but I figured Zest and TY bound to give us a banger of a series, right? So let's fingers crossed and hope it is just that. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you've all been enjoying the uploads the last couple of days. And yeah, excited to be bringing you guys some Olimoleague content once again. We're still going to probably dip back into some of the WESG casts as well. But I saw this series, and again, I just really couldn't keep my hands off of it, and I wanted to talk all about it. So let's enjoy this one. If you do enjoy the series, or the content, or the cast, do consider leaving a like, and do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm trying to push that subscriber count up. Our goal is 10,000 subs by the end of the year. So keep those subscriptions coming in. Of course, leave a comment down below to let me know what you thought as well, as we better get into it, because a proxied second gateway here from Zest is going to be an aggressive opening for our Protoss player right from the start of game number 1 here on Kairos Junction. So a very aggressive opening to begin with from Zest, as you do see this SCV nibbling away at that probe here and there. I mean, right away, this is just obviously with TY not scouting with an SCV, kind of bad for him. He doesn't really know what's up. He's going to place the CC on the low ground like everything is okay. And of course, the Reaper's going to pop out, but the first Zealot already being built back at home. You can see that Zest is actually saving his Chrono Boost for the Cybercore to finish, and then probably Chrono Boosting out a Stalker or two. The idea is, obviously, I mean, no reason to get the Zealot out super fast compared to you want those Stalkers ASAP. And the first Chrono Boost does go across the map onto Stalker number 1 over here. No Chrono Boost on the Adept actually that's built at home is smart if you're going to build an Adept to build that one at home, because then it shades across the map really quickly. As TY will see this coming though, gets the Reaper onto the pylon, and so a good scout from TY, and immediately command center is cancelled. Bunker on the high ground. TY is going to be forced into somewhat of a one-base play, as he starts up concussive shells, a little bit supply blocked, waiting for that depot to finish, and the Marauder now on the way out. But he isn't going to be messing around trying to save the low ground at all, so this SCV that goes down is pretty much the majority of damage that will be done here. You know, for a moment or two, there's an SCV building the bunker that can maybe go down as well, but as the bunker finishes, Reaper gets inside Marauder on the way up, and TY again will just sit back on one base, because he knows, of course, Zest's expansion is also delayed here. Zest will now put that expansion down on the natural, so we'll begin to expand, but again, TY for the moment probably kind of happy to see this coming, not have to worry about, oh my god, how am I going to keep this CC alive, get a bunker up on the high ground. Means there's no pressure on these supply depots any longer as well. As we do see, the Reaper actually is going to skirt out of the main base, and TY will have this across the map to pick up some further information to try and get something a little bit more done. Zest's follow-up is going to be the Stargate back at home, so turn this into a fairly regular game here from Zest. Opening up with the Stargate, obviously the expansion on the way. Just a couple of units out the front to try and keep up the pressure. I mean, there's no reason to keep pressure up, though. There's no command center landing down there for a little while. But, of course, how exactly is Zest meant to know the exact timing on that? Reactor will build on the factory. On the barracks. Expected the factory to lift up and go to this tech lab already. But going to be a third Widow Mine to jump into this medevac. And so it will be some drop attempts from TY. Try and get some damage done here in game number 1. The first 2 Widow Mines already loading up. The next Widow Mine about to be finished. And that's going to be popping up into this medevac in a moment as well. There we go, 3 Widow Mines inside, and across the map they go. These few Stalkers and the Zealot chasing that Reaper away down to the bottom side here. And TY again heading across down to the bottom right. And there's going to be an extra racks coming up, and well, let's see what happens. Obviously, we have seen the Oracle production start from Zest. He's on his second Oracle in the production tab already now. So getting a second Oracle on the way up. The Reaper, by the way, from TY has picked up some good info, of course. Saw the expansion. Sees the Oracle coming across the map as well. And right now, Zest continuing to warp in over on this side. Oracle high ground vision means he can probably kill off this supply depot. But can he deal with the Widow Mines? Pulls away from the first one. That's just 1 probe loss. Not too bad at all. 2 more Widow Mines will burrow, but nothing here to kill them. And oh, the probe's a little bit stacked up then. He does grab a couple. This Widow Mine's still burrowing around, as we do see Zest starting to break through the supply depot out of reach of that bunker. This Widow Mine goes off, and overall, it's 7 probes killed. Not too many, as the supply depot is broken down, and Zest will get up here away from the bunker. Cyclone out, though. I mean, Banshee is... obviously, first one is out and across the map. If he was able to finish close, that would have been huge. As it stands, this is maybe still a bit problematic for TY as he locks onto a Stalker here. Has the units in the bunker as well. Oracle not doing much. I mean, the Banshee about to arrive. There still isn't anything to actually clean this up back at home. The Oracle isn't going to do anything. Cyclone actually falls as we were away for a moment or so. Siege Tank now on the way out as the Tech Lab's been taken down. I mean, it's only 4 Stalkers and 2 Adepts. It feels very killable as the Banshee over here gets 2 Workers. And now the Widowmine back into the main base. Going to unload these, going to burrow them up. And TY could get some major damage done. I mean, Zest just isn't realizing it. And kaboom! The entire mineral line, actually. 8 kills on one of the Widowmines. Didn't see how many was on the other. But it's 22 kills in total. Means the other Widowmine probably got 8 kills as well, actually. And that's going to be these units cleaned out with the help of a Banshee and a tank. And Zed's just going to type out GG right then and there. Too many workers lost. Still has a Banshee on the natural to deal with as well. And TY is going to end up taking game number 1 of this best of 3 series. With an aggressive game that actually turned out to be kind of Zest forcing his hand. But hey, it worked out wonderfully for TY. And he went up 1 in this best of 3. Well, let's jump into game number 2 and have a little look to see if Zest bounces back or if TY is going to show us some more aggressive play. We'll see you guys on that. Game number 2 here on Cyber Forest, and down to the bottom right we have the Red Protoss player. We have got Zest. Last few times we've cast Zest on general in the stream, on the YouTube uploads, I do feel like he's been a very prominent player and he's been doing very well. I've actually been quite impressed with Zest's play as of late, so I was excited to be able to cast some of him, but obviously this was not his greatest moment, letting those Widowmines kill his entire mineral line. I mean, if he doesn't lose his entire mineral line there, maybe it's okay, because even the counterattack he can somewhat deal with Stargate production and so on. But obviously being down so many probes. I mean, the worker count was actually equal, but you've got to remember that the Terran player has mules, and the Terran player has the army advantage right there, with better units in the army. The Banshee was there to kill more probes as well. Zest really was in a lot of trouble as he tapped out there from game number 1, giving TY, our blue Terran in the top left from Splice, the 1-0 lead in the best of 3. Well, game number 2 then, and obviously put that first game behind us, and there's not going to be any sort of similarity in the opening for game 2 already. This gateway building on this side of the map, no second gate or not even a probe across the map. Neither player sending an early worker across to get some scouting information, so both players will keep to themselves for the first few minutes here on Cyber Forest. A fairly small map when it comes to pushing across, fairly compact as well. Swapping from one side of the map to the other is something we commonly see. A map that's also very well defined by the fact that it's just got all of these different ledges and, well, definitely pushing points on it. Typically we'll see players going up to 3 bases, and then as a Protoss player there's definitely some ways to take advantage of the 3 bases. If you take the 3 base over here, Warp Prism in this very vast main can definitely distract you while an army pushes up this ramp. Or maybe if, you know, TY takes this base here, pushes in towards this low ground from a couple different directions, can also be frustrating. Yes, they're slowed down by these rocks, but they're definitely not impossible. As the Protoss, you generally tend towards this high ground third base. Yes, it opens you up to the drops in the main, but that's something which you're generally expecting to deal with as a Protoss player anyways, because let's face it, it's one of the best ways that a Terran player can apply pressure to you in the early stages of the game. Reactor on the way down from the barracks, the factory building up in the main base as well. Command center about halfway done here from TY. We are just going to be seeing another probe or 2 on the way out. The Adept going to start popping across the map, actually. So we'll shade over here, try and apply some pressure. Going to be followed up by a chrono-boosted Stalker. So Zest trying to apply again early game pressure, try and get something done. Obviously not as committed as what we saw in the first game at all. But here in the second game, I mean, it definitely allows you to maybe do a little bit of damage. Maybe if you slow down that CC, then brilliant. Although this wasn't the fastest possible Adept, and so realistically killing that SCV is going to be a bit of a challenge with so many Marines already here. It is interesting, so many Marines bypassed the Reaper. Nice fast reactor. Means that TY will be able to hold off the initial Adept without any issue. No real need for a bunker or so, which is something that you oftentimes see at this sort of stage. 5 Marines now, and again, just using the Adept Shade for high ground vision. That's going to be the Stalker getting 1 kill, but how much more can you really hope for here? With the high ground there, the Adept can't just stay shaded up there forever unless it actually commits to the shade, which I don't think you want to do right now. We're going to be seeing that Stalker actually taking quite a lot of damage. We'll get an SCV out of this, so Zest rewarded for his pressure as he puts down a blink upgrade on the Twilight Council at home. Just going in towards a little bit more of that kind of macro-oriented follow-up. This is actually really nice right now. Now the Adept will commit, although the Stalker goes down. Adept will still fall here, I think. It's super close. It goes down as it fires the shot onto the Marine. A shame that Zest lost the first Stalker, because actually if he'd kept that alive, right now he'd actually be doing a ton of damage because the lack of a bunker from TY. I mean, that's just greed from TY, right? And that's why he's already lost a lot of units. He definitely could have had a bunker up with the amount of time he spent. He already lost an SCV trying to defend this, so would have been such an issue to try and lose, to lose an SCV while committing in towards a bunker. No, I don't think he would have been. And I mean, that's just very greedy from TY, and it does cost him 8 Marines. I mean, yes, the Adept and the Stalker go down, but I mean, 8 Marines is kind of a lot. It's not just like 2 or 3 and you kill an Adept and Stalker. It's like, that's kind of nice. 8 Marines is a sizable chunk of your army early and does take away some of the pressure you could maybe try to apply. Siege Tank's already on the way out, by the way, and Banshees as well with that cloak, so TY in general setting up to a fairly aggressive early opening. Tank, Banshee, a lot of damage output in this army if it can get into the right positions. Obviously a lot of harassment potential as well, as we see this first Banshee about to arrive towards the bases of the Protoss player in the next few moments. He will be flying past the third base, which has just been placed by Zest recently, so Zest, no concern at all, already going up to the 3 bases, and that pylon good scout on the Banshee coming in. There's no detection available while the Observer is about to pop, but the Stalker's just blinked out into the middle of the map. But then there's a shield battery to actually do some healing, so these probes will not actually take any serious damage here. Stalker's going to come in from the top side, and we'll blink a couple over, and so yeah, Stalkers on both sides of this, and will not be able to kill the Banshee, but does get the Banshee trapped in the corner. However, it does mean the Stalkers are not pushing into the middle of the map as they wanted to, and it does mean this army then is able to come across without any Stalker pressure on it. Obviously, a lot of the time you see those Stalkers sitting in the middle of the map, dealing damage to the Marines and the tanks as they start to come across here. Right now, the Stalker's coming forwards, picking off 1 Marine, losing the Stalker, however. Mortal showing up as well, starting to press forwards. Mortal loses its barrier already. Marines starting to drop down. SCV's taking some damage as well. Oh my god, it's pretty close. 2 of those Stalkers get taken down so far. And we are just going to be seeing the Banshee still sitting just between the natural and the third. Command center building up for TY. He's getting a 3rd CC set up behind this. At the end of the day, good defense out of Zest. Didn't really lose much. TY also not really losing a lot here. I mean, a few more Marines going down for those Stalkers. Overall, TY good little bit of pressure to keep the Protoss pinned back and so on, while setting himself up in towards the 3 bases, getting himself the barracks online, so he can move in towards Stimpack and combat shields as well, of course. Moving towards all of this right now. A couple of engineering bays dropping down from TY in the back of the natural as well, so even moving in towards those upgrades. And those are actually going to be quite a bit faster than the Protoss upgrades. Remember that these games are played on the brand new patch, which means the Protoss upgrades are extended in length. They take 15 seconds longer on the +1, so actually it's going to take quite a while to get the first +1 upgrade going, and it's going to be quite an upgrade lead, I think, here from TY, even though Zest will have Chrono Boost. And Single Forge isn't exactly, shouting, look at all these awesome upgrades I contain. It really isn't, no matter how much you Chrono Boost that in the near future. Going up to the Templar Archives, though, plenty of gates as well. It is going to be a gateway-focused army, which is why the upgrades are kind of important. Generally, with these Protoss armies, if you go for tech units, you can get away with some lesser upgrades. But when it's so gateway-heavy, you're generally expecting the gateway units, especially the Zealots, to be very tanky. And so +1 armor is an absolute must. +2 armor is even better. And of course, as you move through the game, getting to +3 really just completely changes how the game looks in terms of those fights. This one poor Banshee man is just completely stranded here all game long. I don't think TY is ever going to truly find a way out for that poor Banshee. We do see some Marines pushing down here. Stalker's going to blink backwards, already getting themselves a Widowmine kill. I mean, this is why those Stalkers are so great on the map. Already getting a Widowmine, taking away some of the threat that the Terran players spent gas on. Going to be seeing this Banshee over here is having a little bit of a fly around. Actually did lose the other Banshee as well. Didn't really do much with it in the end, as we were mentioning. Well, I mean, nice for this Banshee to still be around, though, but there's a shield battery on every mineral line, so what are you really going to be able to do here? Probably not that much. Shield battery gets to healing right away, and I mean, by the time you actually drain that shield battery of energy, there is almost definitely going to be an Observer and Stalkers on top of your Banshee. And oh, there's actually this Observer right here, so the Banshee flies from one Observer into the next, and the Banshee will go down. So both Banshees lost. Not the end of the world. You see the Zealot getting blown up. Storm about to finish up as well here from Zest as a Warp Prism is out. Stalker's already starting to talk down those rocks. We did talk about the potential of pushing down this ramp into the third base. I mean, if these Stalkers can get rid of the rocks already, it will speed up some kind of an attack. And actually, look at this. Zealots are coming across. High Templars in the Warp Prism as well. I mean, Storm was just finished up. So it's not a bad time to take a fight as some Stalkers will go wandering into the army. One Stalker lost. The other two two Stalkers lost. The other two managing to blink away. Well, Zealots back on towards the rocks here, dealing some good damage to the Immortals. Able to take those rocks down. The rocks do go down. And again, just going to be seeing Zest coming forwards. Going to go for these rocks as well. So Rock's going to start getting taken down here. And he is going to push straight down. I tell you what, TY's army's out of position. Has a couple ghosts, but I mean, where are they? Big storms as well from the first side Templar dropping out there. A lot of the Zealots already going down. The Warp Prism will have to back away and probably get into warp-in mode in a moment. I love the Archon warp-in. It actually makes sure that he doesn't really lose the High Temple, and he is going to commit the Archon, so he's going to lose it, but it soaks up a couple of Widowmine shots. Killed the third base in the process here, by the way, Zest. As he's going to come in once again. I really thought he needed another Zealot warp-in, but man, TY has sat in some of these storms for way too long. These army units still so clumped up. There's no storms remaining, but Zealots are reinforcing from across the map. And Zest will just run on in to take game number 2 of this series, tying it up 1-1 in the best of 3. Zest and TY knocking heads here, locking horns, and going to a third and final game to see who advances through this round of the Olimoleague Weekly that we're casting. Olimoleague 150 as well, number 150, the big one. It's congrats to them. Over the 5 years, they've run 150 weekly tournaments. On top of that, some extra special events as well as their monthly finals. It's just thought it'd be nice to say a big shout out to the Olimoleague and what they've done for Korean StarCraft 2 by providing a very stable and consistent weekly tournament. So that's just tied it up, guys. Let's jump into a third game. A third game on King's Cove, a great map to end things on here in the PvT. It's a nice large one. It gives you some bases to play with. And we've seen quite a lot. Honestly, this map's really delivered in terms of macro-based gameplay since it's entered the map pool. This Year Zero has been giving us some longer games and some macro to look forward to in series. Top left-hand side, tying it up with that push in game number 2. Our red Protoss player from OG is Zest. Up against the blue Terran player in the bottom right-hand side of the map from Splice, we have got TY. As we go into game number 3 here, coughing away. I just had a quick little snack between games 2 and this game now, which you guys don't really care about. Power of YouTube cast, right? I can take a couple minutes and power up for the third game before we kick off into it. Okay, I'll shut up. Let's talk about StarCraft 2. That's what we try to focus on in these videos. I just want to ask you guys, though, obviously we're doing a lot of casting and stuff for the YouTube channel right now. Is there anything else you guys would like to see? Is there any videos or kind of guides or style of videos in particular you guys would be interested in? I'd love to hear from you guys if there are any ideas out there. I've been asking this question the last couple of days. Again, I'm talking a lot about this goal of maybe hitting 10,000 YouTube subscribers by the end of the year. We're 3,700 or so away. It's very possible if we have some good progress on the YouTube, but it's not going to be easy. Definitely not. So I'm very interested to see what you guys or hear what you guys would like to see on the channel. Whether it's just more casts, more exclusives, absolutely let me know down in the comment section below. Much appreciated. All those comments and any likes and so on, let them be had. We appreciate them. As we do see our setup here, Zest getting ready to go in towards his 2 bases, of course. Nothing really too crazy. Both players expanding in the early stages of King's Cove. TY going to be sending a Reaper here across the map. So bringing a Reaper up the right-hand side and going to be heading in towards the main base very shortly. A Chrono Boost, meanwhile, on this Adept from Zest. So going to be getting this up and running. And just going to be seeing a Chrono Boost once again on the Adept. So pretty fast couple of Adepts here as the Reaper is not really making any progress at all. It's just going to hang around back at home more or less. At least for the moment, just checking very heavily for proxies. So making sure there's nothing hidden away super close to the base of TY. I mean, anything that's hidden outside of the areas he's checked in is generally not going to be that much faster than usual. Stuff like a gateway or stuff like a Stargate. And so then it's kind of, even a robo facility, right? Those attacks are going to be kind of far away compared to where you'd want them to be for a proxy. And so at that point, TY's like, well, at that point, I'm kind of feeling comfortable to be able to hold these attacks off anyways. So you do see the command center here morphing into an orbital. Widowmine is just about halfway done, and the Oracle on the way from the Stargate. Adept patrolling around on the side of the main. I'm just going to be seeing this Adept from Zest also coming out into the center of the map, and a Reaper coming up and through the middle as well. Adept is going to find that Reaper and going to say, hello, how you doing? Reaper taking a little bit of damage and then gets pushed up to the high ground. So a couple of Adepts coming over here. It's going to be a full wall off in a moment or two. For now, it's just these couple of Marines. Adepts can negate the high ground advantage by just shading straight up. Of course, then if they shade in, they're going to be right on top of the Marines, which won't be pretty. And there we go. A second depot to complete the wall off here for TY. As we'll see, Zest now shading will be going around the left side. But again, do you really commit to that? Maybe you do, and then you kind of poke forwards with the Adepts and just get an attack off. But it becomes a bit risky because you are kind of cornered in up here. Just in case, certain things can happen to maybe make that not so great as the Widow Mines and Burrow. It's just going to be 2 Widow Mines and a Medevac to start moving across the map. The Adepts do run up here in the end. You can just see that they're just going to keep on scouting for the moment, trying to get really up close and personal to that wall off, trying to find out as much info as they can about what exactly TY is building in these early stages. They were a bit unfortunate as well because they did just miss this Medevac, which was heading up the left-hand side and across in towards the top left-hand corner of the map too. Twilight Council and a Forge on the way down here in the main base. That Oracle still patrolling the sides. These Widow Mines going to be completely missed. That Medevac just unseen. And to tell you what, Zest is just not going to respond to it. First 2 Widow Mine shots kind of go closer together than I thought they would. It's 9 kills in total. So 9's not bad, but it feels like maybe this Widow Mine up here could have targeted these probes and maybe would have got a few more. Then kind of, I feel, crossing over because they both targeted on probes around these mineral patches. And so there's some kind of level of splash overlap there. Maybe it doesn't maximize the damage that could have been done. See TY with that beautifully skinned Liberator. We don't see the Emojin skins all too often, I feel, in the world of StarCraft 2. So nice to see that nice white Liberator coming up the top side, looking absolutely majestic as it wanders across in towards the main base here. And, well, we'll be met by a couple of plain old Stalkers, and we'll immediately be taking some damage. He's just going to go for the siege up, so you'll target fire probes here. No, he's going to go for the Stalker. I mean, that's brave, because you're very unlikely to deal damage. I mean, 3 shots, this could have been 3 probe kills that he could have gotten. So I feel like that's a missed opportunity by TY. A little bit of a shame, as Blink about halfway done, plus 1 attack on the way through as well. Seeing Zest setting up into a pretty regular setup. And TY as well, 3rd CC already building up here, now going into the extra barracks. So just a little bit of pressure from TY early, getting into attacking a bunker to stay safe, and eventually getting up to 3 bases, which is exactly what Zest is doing as well. His 3rd Nexus already finished in location, of course, and dropping down a Robo to start transitioning through from here. Obviously feeling safe enough to go play without a Robo until now. No fear of the Banshees or anything. I guess he has had the Oracles to revelate in case of Banshees. Has been very passive with these, to the point that we never really saw them until we saw the Widowmine drop coming in up the left-hand side. That was pretty much it. So there's a couple of Oracles still sitting out to the left side here. A couple of depots holding at the front. And again, Stalkers, Sentries, and Adept. All of this from Zest gathering together. We're going to be seeing 1 probe of Zest moving over towards the 3rd base. And the charge upgrade coming through, being chrono boosted at the moment. Immortal on the way out. Photon Cannon on the way down behind the mineral line as well. Getting this set up and ready to go. A couple of Widow Mines still being produced from the factory. So getting those couple of Widow Mines up and rolling, and just going to be seeing those 2 Medevacs going to be popping out of the starport in the next few moments as well. So getting those going, the Oracle's still hanging out on the bottom side, and 3rd CC is about to land in position. As we do see the siege tank sieging on up, and we're getting the bio coming on down to the bottom side of the map as these Oracles are going to be coming through. SCV taking a little bit of damage. Mule goes down, a fresh Mule at that. So Zest is dealing some good damage here. I mean, considering it's a very passive game at the moment and not really a lot is going on, I would say that this is going pretty well so far here from Zest, right? I mean, you know, to kill a Mule in a game where you're not really expecting to do anything and both players are just macroing up, I feel that counts as fairly good damage. It's been pretty passive since those early Widow Mines dealt some damage, and that Liberator got shut down. And now we're really just building up into everything. Templar Archives dropping in here from Zest, the charge upgrade, the +1 armor, and the +2 attack. On the other side, the Terran upgrades are going to be finishing shortly, and we do see a bit of a Terran move out from TY. Tell you what, as combat shields and 1-1 finishes, this is quite scary. A couple of Widow Mines mixed in here, a couple of siege tanks. Obviously quite a lot of bio units as well, which are going to have 1-1 upgrades and both Stimpack and combat shields to work with. The Stalkers have their work cut out for them as they blink in for a single Marine, or blink out after killing a single Marine, I should say. Well, this is going to be a bit of a tough hold, I feel, for Zest, but let's see what he can do coming towards the game. It's really difficult because once these tanks get sieged up as well, then you're attacking into splash damage. Well, here you go, a few Zealots from the top side. The Oracle's coming in first. Widow Mine shots go off on the Oracles. I don't feel that Zest actually minds that all too much because it means the Widow Mines are not going off on his bio or his gateway forces, which are going to be very important for then cleaning up the rest of this army. More Stalkers warping in as the Stalkers blink up. He's going to get rid of one of the medevacs already. TY going for a big run into the main base. You can see that blink is ready for Zest. If he wants to jump on these medevacs and stop these units from ever getting out, he definitely can. In fact, he will. He will kill everything here as TY ran all the way through to the main base to try and find extra damage. Kind of committed himself very far in there. And you can see the resources lost will favor Zest just slightly. 700 resources better off here. And of course, it was a big tech reset as well, especially for TY. You know, while Zest lost a couple of Oracles that are always nice to have, but not kind of game-changing when it comes to armies, he only lost 1 Immortal, whereas the Terran player lost the 2 Siege Tanks and 6 Widow Mines and 3 Medevacs. That's a huge amount of units, especially the Medevacs, because at any stage of a PvT nowadays, you're generally, as the Terran player, looking to say, okay, when I reach a comfortable level of Medevacs, I'm either going to be building Vikings to deal with Colossus, or I'm probably going to be introducing Liberators, because let's face it, Liberators are an absolutely amazing unit to have in the Terran versus Protoss matchup. 7 more Stalkers warping in, +2 attack, and armor on the way out. A couple of refineries dropping down from TY on the 3rd base as well, so continuing on with that. 2 Widow Mines, these bio units starting to push out into the center of the map. Marines and Marauders unloading, as we do see TY. A couple of Widow Mines and a Medevac on the left side. Observer setting up here as well, just keeping a little bit of map vision from Zest. He really is at this stage just still the defender. Has 1 Archon positioned on this low ground, needs to move forward instantly with the rest of the army. Does have High Templar in the Warp Prism. Ghost production has started from TY, but nothing in this army right now. That's a Stalker that does just blink away in time, and another one which will do a similar sort of thing. And that's a nice couple of shutdowns. Just a little bit of splash damage taken, but nothing beyond shields that can be repaired up over time, of course. As we do see at the 11-minute marker here, or thereabouts, TY is still trying to be the aggressor, pushing forwards with an army once again. This time Ghost will start to be included, so you can start throwing down some of those EMPs. Taking a 4th base back at home at the same time as well, so really just keeping level on the bases that the Protoss has. Both of them have a pretty good economy, so both of them definitely can work with that. Both of them are going to be on equal upgrades as well, and in fact, pretty much everything you kind of tick through in this game, it's like, well, actually they both have kind of the same. The economies are kind of the same, the upgrades are pretty much the same. You know, they're kind of... army value is kind of the same, right? It's very gateway heavy versus still very heavy on bio with a couple of ghosts mixed in. I like it. I like it from both. Fleet Beacon and extra Stargates as Zest will start to tech up in towards the real late stage army now. Tempest typically a go-to to begin with, so you can deal with what generally becomes very heavy Liberator counts initially. And Liberator range is a real problem to deal with here. Oh my god, did that Warp Prism go down? Oh my god, did you actually just lose the Warp Prism in that fight? Wow, I didn't even see it, and it went down with all the High Templar, and that's huge. Suddenly Zest can't push at all. I'm surprised TY, maybe TY doesn't even realize, because I feel like that's the sort of moment where TY should now be pushing forwards. Picks off an Observer as he does move up to the top side of the map. A few Zealots from Zest will try and counter-attack here. There's a little bit of bio leading the charge, met by some Stalkers. High Templar is full of energy back at home. Comes through to try and get a storm off, but again, the army is split up quite nicely from TY, and he is going to dive, gets the High Templar with no storm cast. Widow Mine here will force the Stalkers to blink backwards as they try to kill a Viking. I kind of like the Viking production. A few Vikings before Liberators. A, you can shut down the Warp Prism, and B, it means you already have something to deal with the Tempest that Zest has. Not bad at all from TY as these Zealots of Zest, I guess we could call them the Zest lots, are about to go running on into a base here and try and get some damage done. A few more Zealots warping in, and obviously they're going to be a real buffer for the rest of this army, trying to keep that bio at bay. Well, in fact, TY is going to be kept at bay. He backs away around the right side, still watching for these Zealots to maybe try and get something done. A couple of Marines positioned to the top side. They are going to go down. Observer sees them. At this point, Zest can quite comfortably take a 5th base, I think. Of course, as you go up to more bases here on King's Cove, you generally find yourself in pretty good spots to expand. The 5th base comes in kind of almost behind the 4th, and it's a very difficult base to attack into as the opponent, because you either have to run past the army at the 4th base or come in from this left side, and well, who wants to go around this left side? You have to commit to that left side so early on, and it's so predictable, and it's then a choke point as well. This is not an easy base to get rid of. The best hope you have of getting rid of a base like this is a big Zealot warp in, or like a drop, a run by. The whole, the major army, the big army, is not going to push through there on its own to deny that base, trust me. Which means you can really focus on having your main army out in front of your 4th, and then of course, you can see why these players are very easily able to expand and go into more and more bases here. Things like this, the DTs, this is definitely the sort of thing you want to set up on these bases. Try and stop them from coming up. The faster you do, the more you're going to hurt that economy of the Terran player. 4TT showing up, and already a couple SCVs getting swiped. Surprised he's not going straight up for the cancel on the command center. I mean, it's not going to be able to continue building once you kill that SCV, and 4DTs do some real damage, especially with the +3 attack. And he's going to recall them out of there. I love it, because let's face it, there's no real happy ending for those DTs. If they try and go this way, there's probably an army coming to deal with them. If they try and run this way, they can be intercepted as well. I feel like TY doesn't really... I mean, he drops a scan, so he's still looking for them, but recall away in the end is kind of worthwhile. Probably could have got out to the left, I guess. There's maybe my one comment there. But then again, as Zest, how do you know the army isn't already coming around this way? And 4 DTs is quite a lot. You can see a second scan used. TY is really convinced these DTs are here somewhere, but they are not at all. Wow, what a huge play by Zest. That recall not only saves 4 DTs, but straight up forces 2 scans out of TY that are absolutely useless. Brilliant. Shadow Stride on the way as well, so going to be seeing some Blink DTs. Now, if you guys didn't see the SOS Classic series or game that I uploaded the other day, by the way, last week, I'd say check that out if you're looking for another YouTube video to watch after this one. It was an absolute banger of a game with some Blink DTs involved. Doesn't get much better than that, so there's my personal recommendation of the day. Is Stalkers coming forwards, pushing some damage onto Marauders. They just got EMP'd pretty heavily, but, well, EMPs, it's not permanent damage, right? So I'm not sure why TY was so happy just like, I'm going to poke forwards and throw an EMP down. There's no real follow-up to it. There's no units pushing forwards to try and catch the Stalkers in the center or anything. Nothing like that at all. +2 rad weapons on the way in the main base here of Zest. And those Tempests still just hanging out overhead as well. We're going to see Stalkers once more moving forwards. Down to the bottom side here, and actually going to start fighting against a few of those Marines and Marauders. On the right, some of these Zealots start running in, but to no avail. They are going to be pushed away as well. On the far left, some Zealots also lined up to maybe come through, but at this point, there's so many Sensor Towers set up that how are you ever going to get in range of a base without TY having many minutes to come and respond to you? And we know TY is not just going to see something on a Sensor Tower and ignore it for 30 seconds. Absolutely not. TY is one of the better players when it comes to Terrans in these later game scenarios. He plays for these late game scenarios a lot of the time. And when he gets these late game scenarios, he's so very good at them. And it's the reason why he's been a WSG champion in the past. And, well, hold that thought, because that is a huge set of EMPs. The Vikings go huge. Warp Prism and Tempest are dying. It's the Zealots on this base down here that get denied as well. So exactly what we were talking about. What a play by TY. Perfect EMPs. Catching even more units right now. Landing up a nuke on the top side of the map as well. And Zest, that was an awful couple of moments from him, as he's going to end up just backing away and saying, well, this isn't good for me. Another Oracle nearly goes down too as it hits the Revelation. You see the Ghost here picks up 12 kills before it goes down to the Tempest. The nuke does connect. This army in the center going to be pulling back, cancels the nuke as well, and we will see Zest unable to really capitalize on any of that. Now, I was just saying again, TY a WSG and IEM champion, GSL finalist. There's a reason he is so good and so, well, so decorated in StarCraft 2. And the reason is because he can play these late games. And not a lot of Terran players can play these late games at a super high level. And those that can, when they go up against the others, it's really, I mean, it really brings it, because the difficulty in the late game is controlling the army. But if you can control the army, it's so freaking good. Protoss army late game, very hard to control as well. You know, let's not just, you know, go on about Terran, because I'm sure someone's going to be like, Wardy, you're a Terran player. Stop going on about Terran being difficult. Late game Protoss is pretty difficult to control as well, keeping the Tempests out of range, making sure your High Templars don't just wander into EMPs and so on. And so we are just generally going to have like a real awesome standoff where it's going to be really about this late game army control, and that's really exciting when you have two players like TY and Zest going against each other, because you know that these two are able to control these armies impeccably well. And that's one ghost going down here. Another attempt of a nuke on the top side. Vikings will chase in to kill off a Tempest. A good EMP set of EMPs again, hitting the Tempest and bringing them shields down. Now we see TY repositioning around the top, ready to push in from the right-hand side. Another scan on the army, seeing what's going on there. Scan here is actually going to pick off the Observer, puts the Ghost in a bit of a safer spot than before. He'll use the army to try and defend that Ghost as he wants to nuke this base, but there's not even that many probes on the base. Keeping Zest pinned back to the 5 bases in total, I guess, is the most important part of this. The Stalkers kind of walk into that nuke, a few of them going down. It's not super disastrous. It's not like full-on army level of disastrous, but it's still pretty, it's still pretty sizable. As you're going to be seeing another Tempest or two. We're going to start dropping as well. That's a couple of Tempests picked off right there. And you see this next nuke going to land as well, and another shot down on the Nexus. Vikings firing, picking off an Oracle, Stalkers, Archons, and Zealots. Down on the bottom side, a Widowmine will go off and connect quite nicely. A little bit of bio stimming in over to the left-hand side. Another nuke trying to line on up. These Ghosts, I feel, are in a little bit of trouble, though. TY's really gotten himself back towards the top corner of the map. Tries to save some of these Ghosts, but not all of them will be saved. The bio army chased away as well, and well, even the Vikings have taken a bit of a beating here. And Zest picks up some real kills. I mean, 19.5 minutes in. I haven't talked much about what's kind of around right now for the players and in terms of economy, but Zest has a huge bank to play with, and TY does not have a lot of gas to rebuild with himself. So that is a bit of a difference between the players right now, as you're going to be seeing these Stalkers able to get rid of those Vikings. So a lot of Vikings going down, and Zest now coming down the right side. Medevac's coming along as well. Nexus slap bang in the middle of the map, as this base does end up getting nuked down. This Ghost that survived, able to drop a fairly successful nuke at the end of the day. Coming in towards the natural slash third, going to try and nuke this base as well. Well, Zest moving across the map at the 20-minute marker, putting some pressure on towards the 4th base, and reinforcements here already from TY, who's trying to build up into battle cruisers, by the way. Multiple battle cruisers on the production tab. Nuke will land, and that Ghost gets even more damage. 22 kills on this Ghost, man. He's having the time of his life as Zest down to 43 workers, but it does free up supply to maybe just add in more army. At a stage when he already has a fairly sizable bank, I guess 2k isn't a crazy bank, especially with so many bases yet to be mined here on King's Cove. I guess you do want to get some probes up so you can keep rebuilding that bank. I mean, the BCs being seen is obviously nice. The Tempests, well, he's going to keep rebuilding those as well. He lost a few fighting the Vikings on the top side of the map previously. I didn't really mind those trades. I thought they were pretty decent. Stalker's still hanging out on the right. Ghosts. The Bio unit's going to stem on over, and well, the Stalker's going to have to start blinking away. Zest is able to save those, and we'll get back towards this main central army and base very quickly. Getting this 5th base up is pretty nice. It's only a half base though, 6 patches rather than 1 gas instead of 2. Raven here is actually going to drop an anti-armor missile. I mean, okay, it's nice to hit the Stalkers, but can you capitalize on that? That was really an anti-armor missile because the Raven was just going to die. It definitely wasn't what TY was looking for. A little bit of a shame because the Raven's pretty expensive, and that's definitely not 200 gas of value to drop an anti-armor missile that then you don't even get a shot of bio units onto. Gonna knock down these rocks right here, and if this was Abyssal Reef, there'd be a base right here to kill, but the map just looks a little bit like Abyssal Reef. It's not exactly like it. The map does have a lot of similarities, and it's made by the same map maker, by the way, in case you didn't know. Very similar layout, as we do see those BCs flying in towards the natural. Going to get a couple of cannons. This is some good little bits of harassment. They have their teleports to get out of there as well. I mean, it's good harassment, but he's only killed a couple of cannons and a shield battery. Now he's going to start targeting some tech, the Robobay of all things. So I feel, I mean, what do you want the Robobay for really here as TY? Not a lot, I feel. Going to try and line up some Yamatos, but going to be late on actually teleporting out. Will kill one of the Tempests, make that 2 as the Yamatos continue to land. At the same time, topside Storms going down as the armies will clash. Vikings are going to go after those Tempests here. Archons and Immortals chasing forwards. The Storms will blink back to help protect the Tempests against the Vikings. Vikings going down en masse, and meanwhile the Bioforce is chased away by Archons, Immortals, and Zealots. All of the Vikings go down. The Tempest sit strong in numbers. Well, those TVCs are still harassing across the map, but Zest suddenly has a bit of momentum here and might be able to get rid of the base because TY is down on army supply. He lost a lot of units, and it's going to be tough for him to recover this in the next couple of moments. So this is definitely going to be Zest able to make a move to get some damage done. And in general here, just a couple of times over, Zest also harassing on the left-hand side. A couple of times over, TY's just put himself in some awkward spots. The engagements not quite how we want them to look for the Terran player at all. The BCs have teleported back home, but they're getting targeted real quick by those Tempers. And now that they are down, I mean, Stalkers continue to fight. The Immortals are picking away at these Marauders very easily on the ground as well. And you can see TY is pulling back up towards that high ground. On only 100 supply, he's not really mining as much as he'd like to. He only has 42 SCVs in the game. As the starports get denied as well, it feels like suddenly there may never be an answer to these Tempests ever again. Finds the planting fortress in the center, even more mining of TY denied here. And while he has less than 40 workers, a lot of them aren't even mining. Needs to be there, but command center is getting forced away as well, so he can't even drop mules. Suddenly TY is looking worse for wear, and Zest is looking great. He brought a few sentries and he is going to force field there. I'm not sure if that was really necessary or not, but either way, it's going to buy a little bit of time before this fight happens. Stalkers do get EMP'd on the left side, but there's the Zealots running through the tank. Some good force fields to keep the bio in place, and TY will type out GG as Zest takes this longer macro-focused game on King's Cove to take down the series. The series. I've got the Z's on my mind today after saying all the Zest names throughout the series. Zest takes it down and advances through to another round of the Olimoleague. Man, I gotta say, TvP has given us some great series lately. If you didn't watch the Olimoleague monthly finals, we had a lot of TvPs in that. Those videos are up on YouTube. They did very well, in fact, and I'm not gonna lie, honestly, they were really, really, really good. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't checked them out already. So do go give that a look, because those were some great TvPs as well. So many recommendations from me today. What can I say? We've had some great matches lately on the channel. Well, this was Zest vs TY. Thanks so much for watching it, guys. Next few days, of course, more WCS uploads, more YouTube exclusives 3 times a week as well, so you can get content that's not seen on the stream. And thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Remember to leave a like and to subscribe. And if you want to support more, check out the Patreon page. One of the better ways for you to support if you're a YouTube user. That's patreon.com/WardiTV. And thank you so much for watching once again. Much love, guys. I'll see you next time with the next